my name is Audrey Norris. I'm in the 8th cohort of GIMM, and the reason that I decided to come into this program was in my high school. I took a lot of after-school game design classes and did competitions with that, and ended up really enjoying the process of game design after learning a lot about both the design, programming, and actual project management side.
I'm Spencer Lott. I'm part of the 8th cohort. Virtual reality really drew me in, and I kind of wanted to start work on augmented reality. I've always had a love for technology, stuff like that, so it's kind of what drew me in at first.
I'm Grace, and I am in the 8th cohort. I was drawn to GIMM because I was like, oh, it's art and it's tech.
My name is Sam Loomis, and I'm in the 8th cohort of GIMM. What drew me to GIMM initially was I was very interested in video games, pretty much played them all my life, but I feel like for GIMM, that's pretty much like a prerequisite, like unspoken. Like you gotta have some semblance of like interest in, I guess, internet culture, video games, animation, stuff like that.
The first project that I actually worked on while in the GIMM program was a project for my class. It was 110 for Professor Ellertson. I was working on my individual game project. It took me about 40 hours to complete, maybe 60 once I started really working on it in the last 2 weeks of the due date. It was a lot of fun. There was definitely some challenges because I hadn't done the programming side of Unity in a while, but I had a lot of fun getting to just kind of work on my own little game by myself.
One of my projects that we were told to work on in my first semester was my AR project. We were tasked with creating a game in augmented reality, and our project was we decided to recreate blackjack. We had about maybe 6 weeks from start to finish to complete that project, and it probably took us 10 hours a week. Just thinking and actually testing things to get them to work properly.
So one of the projects I did was the individual video game assignment where we got to choose between platformer and then shooter game. I chose a platformer game. I think we had half the school year, a little over half.
So the one that was probably the most interesting and had the most challenge was our second project, which is a group one. It was an augmented reality game. And at first it was very daunting, jumping all the way over to augmented reality and working with mobile devices. Thank goodness it was a group project, and my group was very, diverse in their skills and their experience, because I think it helped getting very different perspectives and hands-on for the different parts of it.
I think the biggest challenge for that first game was dealing with the physics in Unity. I was doing a top-down style game, which meant the movement was really diverse and there was a lot going on with it.
As a group, coordinating our efforts, actually getting on top of things, that was probably one of the biggest hardships for us.
I'm an art student, so for me it was the coding. Hardcore struggled with that, but to overcome that, the labs are super duper helpful, as well as just, getting to know people within your classes. They help with that as well.
Well, coming into GIMM, I have no prior coding experience. So coming into this with the expectation that we're going to be coding, it was like, am I even in the right spot? Am I this? But with the group project, it was really good because you have some people who were really experienced with coding. So we kind of divide and conquer.
I would say for any new GIMM student, if you're not experienced in the software that you'll be using, like Illustrator, Photoshop, Unity, Adobe Animate, just make sure that you start your projects early. Even if you're experienced, you want to start them as soon as possible, but especially if you're just not used to using that type of software.
Jump right into it. Don't procrastinate. Do what you want to do. I know if you're interested in whichever project you want to do, it makes everything go a lot smoother and makes everything you want. It makes you want to be more involved.
I wouldn't even say plan ahead because first semester the teachers do a good job keeping you on track and everything, but definitely start early. Even if you aren't sure what you're doing, start things early, because at least for my animation project in 100, I started that way too late. That was a nightmare.
The biggest thing is you have to want it. You can't just kind of slide through it with high school. You can't just slide through it and just do what you're told. you're going to have to want it and you're going to have to try for it.